question.
Yeah, a good win. Grand Canyon's awfully good. Well, they get upset at home early in the year, which was unexpected, by our staff as we've kind of followed them, not only this year but over the past few years as they've won a ton of games and gotten to tournaments, and they'll continue to have a lot of success this year. I thought they defended at a really high level. We never got really into a great offensive rhythm. Wasn't clean for us offensively. They had a lot to do with that, of course. Very, very physical game. I thought we responded to some adversity really well. Finished, again, not overly clean defensively too down the stretch, but did enough. At the end of the day, it's a quality win. We got to continue to get better.
You said it was a physical game. Was this the kind of game with Santo? It's good to have a guy like that on your side. And how did he? You were really necessarily able to come back.
Excuse me, last part, Mark. Would you?
He went to the locker room or training room or something. He went through the tunnel.
No, he's fine. Santo's fine.
No, I was
Yeah.
thinking, but we worried he wasn't able to come back.
Oh, was I worried? No, I wasn't. He's a tough kid, and I just looking at the play, I thought he'd jump up after a minute. Then he had another play, where he got hit in the eye, but it's part of it. He's tough. Thank goodness it wasn't. None of it was very serious. But yeah, of course, in a physical game, he's 260 pounds. And we got some other guys too that provide physicality. And Grand Canyon's that game was as physical as any game we played this year, including Marquette and St. John's. Those guys really guard. Couldn't get into screens, couldn't get into ball screens, couldn't get into pin downs, couldn't get into flare screens, just got pushed off all of them. So we've got to find a way to address that.
Coach, your team was 194th in the country last year in blocks per game.
Yeah.
Coming in at like 4th in the country, added 9.
Yeah.
How much of a focus has rim protection been throughout the offseason, beginning of this year?
Enormous for 3 years, yeah. Offensive rebounding, scoring in the paint, blocking shots, altering shots, walling up, just being better in the paint on both ends, and we're significantly better.
What are some of the guys you've added this offseason bring to the team and kind of help in that regard?
Talent, length, motor, some toughness, some resilience. Ace Newell and Samto, they just continue to get better. Justin Abson comes in the game, a guy who's probably playing the least amount of minutes of our 5 bigs, if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head. He gets 3 assists in just a few minutes and scores a big basket, much-needed basket in the middle of the zone. He brings a different skill set than our other front court guys. And you got Dylan James, who just continues to improve. So our front court, I got to think, is one of the better front courts that we've had at Georgia here in a few years, definitely in my 3 years.
You mentioned how you guys overcame a lot of adversity in this last stretch of the game.
Mm-hmm.
How did you keep your team to remain focused, though?
It's something we talk about a lot with a young team, playing freshmen and sophomores a lot. Thank goodness we got a couple fifth-year senior guards that have poise and have a lot of mental toughness. But these guys have got some maturity too, and we're getting more and more mature and responding to those adversities better and better. And this was probably this was the second one that could have gone the other way in a really physical game. This one in St. John's, and we found a way.
It seemed like you guys really had control for most of that game, and yet it still comes down to the end. They made 3 points, then a couple of good looks.
Yeah.
As a coach, what's your takeaway for that? Are you excited, proud, I guess, of how they kind of stood in the ground?
Sure.
Or are you kind of looking at it like we could have done better?
No, both. The first thing I said to our guys when we walked in the locker room was I was a little bit, we huddled and we did our post-game deal like we do. I didn't love our body language walking off the floor. I think our guys were a little bit disappointed in the way that we played the last 10 or 15 minutes of the game. I think they felt pretty good about the way we played in the first half. And we talked about some of the deficiencies and some of the areas for growth, of course. And I reminded them, guys, this stuff's hard. You guys just won a hard one that could have gone the other way against a very good team that was really prepared. So, we got to keep that in perspective.
In that second half, it looked like they went zone, and the offense kind of really struggled and really stalled. And Santo came up, that's where he had a lot of big dunks. They won. What does he bring to the floor in your offense that other guys can't?
Yeah, just an ability to finish above the rim. And our guys look for him. And we had probably 2 or 3 errant passes to him. Probably a little bit too much faith in his ability to really get off the floor and finish. Had a couple of empty possessions versus zone early, and it did make us stand a little bit, of course. tried to run some man stuff, and then we changed it up a little bit. We got Justin Absent in the game, who's our best interior passer, and again, he made some really good plays on the inside of that zone.
Everybody scored tonight, but even in that first half, 8 of 9 had at least 4 points. How important is it to get everybody involved in this offense?
Anytime your bench is scoring, I think it just adds to the positive aura, and through adversity, through foul trouble, through maybe an injury, through a guy struggling, if you've got your bench already involved, both offensively and defensively, it definitely provides confidence for you to finish strong. Sorry.
Mike mentioned about 20-plus years best start for Georgia at 9-1.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
We've got some good players that work hard, like each other, like playing together. Focus on practice tomorrow. Let's win another one. Let's get better. We've got a pretty high ceiling, as does everybody in our league, and we just got to focus on getting better.
Let's talk a little bit about the league and some big games coming up when it gets to January. How do you prevent your team from looking ahead to those?
They won't. This team just doesn't do that. This team, our next practice will be a good practice. I hadn't looked at the calendar. I don't know when our next game is. I don't know if we have to take off tomorrow or not. We'll talk about that in the bus. But our next practice, our guys will get after. They love competing. They love working. And our guys are bought into the fact that we've got a pretty high ceiling. We've got some talented young guys that know that there's much room for improvement. It's probably one of the positives of young guys, and they embrace that. These next, whatever, the next game, the following game, but more importantly, the next practice, our guys will be ready to go.
Do you have an update on the Shane Montgomery season?
Not yet. I'm hopeful, just really hopeful. He'll add different stuff. I know he's super eager, but hopefully here real soon he's able to help his teammates, and I'm as anxious as anybody to see him out there. For him, he plays with joy, he plays with energy, plays hard, he flies around the court. He's got a little bit of some of the strengths that some of our other guards have, but he's got his own stuff too. Really good in passing lanes, really quick, really fast, and again, I love the passion that he plays with.